Hey everybody, how we doing? Paul here. Saturday afternoon, getting ready for the markets on Monday. Thought it'd be nice to share with you guys a couple of pairs I'm going to be looking out for next week. First one is pound Swiss franc. Actually, before we do that, let's just look at Forex Factory and see what news we got happening. Click on the calendar. Make sure the time is correct for wherever you are. Okay. Now you may have lots of yellow or grey and amber folders as well, but you can come up to the filter, and you will obviously want them. I mean, if we apply filter, you'll see you get everything happening. Well, we're only really interested in the major red folder news that is really going to move the market, so we can remove the rest of the noise by just applying that filter. So we can see Sunday night, Monday, there's no news, and it's always important. Sunday nights I don't tend to, UK time the markets open at 10 o'clock at night, so I don't trade Sunday evenings. Mondays the market can be a bit funny, but you know, sometimes I'll jump on if there's a decent scan. But Mondays can be a bit of a strange day as well, so it just depends on how the market is behaving. So what you've got to remember is some of these trades, you know, if you took this trade down here, for example, you know, it could be 2 or 3 days before you kind of make any kind of progress at all, and the news can kick in and, you know, go the opposite way and take your stop loss out. So if you're in a channel, for example, and you're expecting it to take, you know, all day to get from one end to the other, or a day and a half, depending on what kind of time frame and how wide the channel is, you've got to bear in mind the potential effect of news. So Tuesday we've got the Australian dollar, Wednesday we've got the New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, US dollar again, so more New Zealand dollar, and you can see, you know, on Friday we've got the pound, the Canadian dollar, etc. So just bear it in mind. Always check before you place your trades if there's any red folder news. If you're scalping and you're going to be in and out within half an hour, make sure you're out sort of like an hour before news, just to be on the safe side. If you're usually in trades for, you know, a day or two, just be conscious of the effect that these might have. So, because sometimes it can take you out very, very easily. Okay, so GBP Swiss franc. It's Saturday the 11th of August 2018, 10 minutes past 3, and what we're looking to do is mark our highs and our low. This is obviously our extreme high. We could go to our most recent high, which would be, you know, here, or possibly here. We could even go here. Doesn't really matter. If we go back in time, you know, we can see a major area here. I mean, we'll just go with that one for now. We're going to go here where price is. So we can see that this was a major area of resistance where prices tried to get through and failed. It did break out, it's come back, and it struggled again. And now it's come back down to here. So it broke into this zone, come all the way up, and now it's come back down to this zone again. Now, we've got two scenarios really. So you're going to come down here to this zone, and retest this area, or I'm going to go back up this way. If we go, actually before we do that, let's see what we get if we drop a trend line on. Remember, with trend lines we're looking for 3 touches, and we're trying to get the wicks lined up the best that we can. See, we've got 1, 2, 3. So if price breaks down here, it's either going to come down, we test this area, and then go down to the next zone. If it doesn't break this low, and we see it retrace off of this area, it may test this. It may test our trend line, and we get another play, and that could happen until it's squeezed into this corner, and again it's faced, you know, with that decision on what it's going to do. So, you know, we've got a wedge. So here, along here, and then down. What do we expect to happen? Expect price to come up. But remember, do not chase the market. Okay? Let price break out. Let it come back. It's got to come back. When it comes back, there's your trade. And that's it. That's how simple it is. If you want to look for confirmations, you know, we can go to the smaller time frames. We can create our channels. This is too steep for a channel. Too steep, and whoops, too steep, and you know, not enough play. I mean, it's not a straight drop, obviously, but to get any kind of interaction between your top trend line and your bottom one, you know, I mean, I've drawn that roughly, obviously, just for speed more than anything else. But you can see, I mean, it's thrown a long wick down here, but come back up, and now started to head off slightly in this direction once again. But it'd be interesting to see where the market opens Sunday night. Is there going to be a gap between where it closed and where it opens? So we just have to sit tight and see. But certainly, although we can't rule it out going further down, we would be looking to go up. If we look for more confirmations, we can see, look, the RSI is, you know, really oversold. Where are we at? 23. It was lower, it was 15. At one point, the stochastics started to cross up. If we go, there's a whole host of things that you can use here, guys. We go to Bollinger Bands, for example. I'm not a massive Bollinger Band user, but we can see that the Bollinger Bands had penetrated quite deeply into the Bollinger Bands, and what happens is that as soon as they go deep into the Bollinger Bands, the only thing they're going to do is go back out towards the median. Which, if I can be crude, would be like that. Yeah? Sometimes, whoops, it'll break through that. Oh, come on. And go the other side. Or sometimes it'll just bounce off that median and play around, or even head back out. You can use, sorry, I'll get my head straight in a minute. We can use, what we got on this one? EMAs. I'm not a massive EMA user. This looks a bit complicated now, doesn't it? I like to keep things clear, and I think the cleaner your chart is, the easier it is to trade, and that's how I like to teach. But I think it would be wrong not to share other strategies with you, because some of you may benefit from other ways to trade that I don't necessarily like, and that would be wrong of me to not share it with you if that was something that you might find useful. So let me just see, we've got okay, so the 5 and the 9, let's just brighten these up a bit. So this is a very simple strategy. Again, it's not something that I use massively, but what happens is whenever the lines cross, the EMAs cross, is when you look for a buy or sell. So when they cross, that's when they change direction. So they cross here, you look for a sell. Cross here, you look for a buy. I mean, this is quite crude. As I said, I'm not a massive user. There are other strategies based around MAs and EMAs as well. We've got another one. We have, but I can't remember what I did with it. No. It's not that one. Okay, I don't think I've got it as a template. Here we go. So it's the 8 and the 12 exponential moving average. And the idea behind this, so we're still on the pound Swiss dollar. If we go back, yeah, this is where we're at. Just move some of this stuff. That's the trouble, it's quicker to draw than it is to try and get rid of. Okay, so the idea behind this is quite simple, and if I had to choose one, I'd probably prefer this. So again, don't use it on its own, but just use it as additional confirmation. But the idea being is that when an entire candle closes below both EMAs, so if it closes below the entire candle, you look for a sell. When it closes above both, which it didn't there, you look for a buy. Now, I haven't used this an awful lot, so I'm reluctant to say to you that it's brilliant. I mean, here, look, we've got one that closes above both, the first one, and it's shot up. $700 pips, 724 pips. That's on the daily, however. You know, so practice with it, use it alongside other forms of confirmation, but most importantly, along with your price action. So, you know, the initial analysis that we did, and then just use these as additional confirmation. You know, on the daily, it's down. We looked at this already, didn't we, the RSI? I mean, that's all the confirmation you need right there, in my opinion. And the fact that it's hitting a major low. So look to buy. USD, GBP, so again, you know, if we mark our high, and our low, and can you see, look at the change. So look how the market has moved here, and then look how it's moved here. See that change? Which to me signifies that we're getting ready for a reversal. Back down. So let's go a bit further. So we'll just mark our top and bottom again. So there's our top, and of course you can do this with the line chart as well. You know, there, say. Just cuts out some of the noise when you use the line chart. A trend line. We're still on the daily, bear with me. So here's our major area of resistance. And what are we looking for to happen? Looking for price to come down to here to our trend line. If it breaks our trend line, wait for the retest. Down you go. Again, on the lower time frames, look for your confirmation, whatever that may be. Ah, come on. Maybe it doesn't let you draw in here. Yeah, there we go. So we're looking for the sell, and the market is overbought. We drop another template on. Bollinger Bands on, for example. So price penetrated at least into our second Bollinger Band, and what happens is like a slingshot. So the further deep into the Bollinger Bands it goes, the more aggressive the return. This is the percentage R, which just gives you confirmation earlier than the RSI, and you can drop down to like the lower time frames, and this gives you very accurate signals as to when to buy and sell. So I hope you found that useful. If you have found it useful, please help by sharing and liking and dropping a comment below. I do appreciate you all tuning in. Let me know how you get on. As I've mentioned time and time again, you know, this is just my interpretation of the market. This is not an indication of a definite trade. You know, trading involves risk. Make sure that you use either a demo account or if you're going to use a live account, that you only trade money that you can afford to lose. Okay, keep your risk at 2%, 3%, and be patient. Okay, patience is the key to trading. Okay, so with that said, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you all have a good and a safe one, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.